Life, death, and purpose. See, 250,000 deaths. We're afraid of our well-being. We may have attended a funeral. We may have heard our neighbor passed away. Death now has become a topic of conversation on a day-to-day basis. We're looking at the numbers rising and falling, and we're praying and we're hoping for the numbers to go down. So death, for example, has become a topic, maybe not of conversation, but an internal conversation that we're having. And it's making us realize that we have to face the reality of our inevitable personal apocalypse. Yes, we're not going to be here one day. We're going to go to the grave. Our life is finite. We are going to die. And I don't want to sound morbid, but thinking about death and reflecting on it in a very productive way, in a very powerful way, in a very positive way, creates the correct lenses in order to question our lives. So if we see life through the lenses of death, we'll be able to question, well, where did I come from? What am I supposed to do? And where am I going? And we need to ask these questions and try and answer them. And from the perspective of death, the Quran eloquently says in chapter 3, verse 185, every soul is going to taste death. Every soul is going to taste death. So thinking about death as a reality would make us question our lives. Well, what am I supposed to do here? What is it really all about? What's the point, right? What is the point? فَأَيْنَ تَذْهَبُونَ? Where am I going? Where are you going, right? So this makes us think about purpose. So let's now quickly try and rationalize, is it rational to believe that there is an ultimate purpose? Now, when we talk about ultimate purpose, we're talking about that there is an intention for our existence, an objective for our existence. So is it rational to believe that we have a purpose? Well, I want to highlight something very important for you to understand, for you to share it with others as well. Human beings are purpose-driven creatures. When we try and speak to someone on the phone, it's for a purpose. When we try and read a book, it's for a particular purpose. When I try and comb my beard, right? It's for a particular purpose. When I'm brushing my teeth, particular purpose. Delivering this webinar, particular purpose. We're purpose-driven creatures. This should at least make us think, well, is there a purpose for my existence? Now, if you have a kind of atheist, naturalistic point of view that you say, no, there's no ultimate purpose for your existence, and you should make purpose for yourself, that for me is the greatest self-delusion. It's a great self-delusion. You're saying, I'm going to attribute purpose for my life. I want to be a doctor, engineer. I want to get married. I want to have kids. I want to save the world. But the basis for your existence, it's meaningless and pointless and has no purpose. This is delusional. It's delusional. It's equivalent logically of saying, let's pretend to have purpose. No different from children playing in the playground or playing at home when they're pretending to be doctors and nurses or robbers and police, cops and robbers, yeah? It was no different from that. It's pretend, it's play. It's play. We need to become serious thinkers as human beings and allow death in a positive way to make us question our lives and think and ask, well, what is my existence about? Forget how should I live my life or what do I want to do in my life, or the kind of smaller purposes that we give to ourselves in our lives in order to achieve things. But what is the fundamental purpose of our existence? Let's think about this. This is something very important for us to understand. And, an analogy I like to talk about is, imagine every single one of you, and you could use this to talk to your non-Muslim friends and colleagues and associates and contacts. Imagine every single one of you were sedated right now, and after an hour, you wake up and you find yourself on a plane. You're on first class, beautiful, comfortable flatbed. You have entertainment on tap, food on tap. You could see outside, you see sunset, sunrise, you see amazing mountain tops. You see it's beautiful scenery, right? And you have luxurious comfort, right? You have everything at your disposal: games, videos, movies, whatever the case may be, food. Now, many of you, maybe for the first 5 minutes, you're going to be like, wow, and you're going to start to enjoy all of this stuff. But after a while, you're going to ask at least 3 fundamental questions. How did I get on the plane? What am I supposed to do on the plane? Where is the plane headed to? if you can't get these questions answered, are you going to be happy? Are you going to have a meaningless happiness? You may be happy if you start drinking some alcohol and you forget about those questions, but that's a drunk type of happiness. It's not meaningful. Are you going to have a meaningful happiness? No, you're not. Similarly, how can we have meaningful happiness in this world if we don't even bother to ask these questions like, how did I get here? How did I come to be? What am I supposed to do? Where am I going? If you can't get these questions answered, then fine, claim some type of happiness, some type of well-being, which is the equivalent of a drunk person's happiness. But will you have meaningful happiness? And which type of happiness would you rather have? And this is why Allah tells us very clearly in chapter 3, verse 191, that all of this was created for a purpose. Our Lord, you have not created all of this without a purpose. This is the most intuitive and rational approach.